Thunder! 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 ThunderCats! Ho!
Welcome back, ThunderCats fans, to another episode of ThunderCats Reviews, brought to you by the Radical Retro Rewind Podcast. As always, I am your host, Radical Ryan Hunter, and I am here with everyone's favorite brother and mine, David, for more kitty cat fun.
Hello, how are you? It's great to be here.
It is great to be here today, David, because this is actually a full episode. We get quite a few, I want to say maybe new quotes. We get a little action, adventure, and we get the appearance of Hachiman for the first time.
I laughed, I cried, I kissed $10 goodbye. No, I don't know. It was good. It was good. I have notes. And I just want to say, does anybody else have this problem? Please, radical ones, please comment. My ThunderCat people, please comment. When you use Siri, dictate to Siri, if you're trying to tell Siri to take some notes, that nothing you say ever comes out right. I have my notes. I want to tell you my notes, but I also want to tell you what Siri actually wrote down instead of what I said.
What you heard, you're going to decipher what Siri came up for you. Okay, I love this.
Go ahead.
So this is episode 26 of season 1. It originally aired on October 29th of 1985. This is called The Thunder Cutter. And as always, thank you to the ThunderCats Wikipedia for helping us remember what we might have forgotten by just watching. Furious at the mutants' constant defeat at the hands of the ThunderCats, Mumm-Ra is chastising them in his Black Pyramid. In their defense, the mutants attribute their failure to the Sword of Omens, the powers of which are beyond compare. Now, this is where you mentioned in one of our previous episodes that Monkey says today that every week it seems like the Sword of Omens has some...
Once again, you have failed. It's the sword, Mumm-Ra, the Eye of Thunder. What can we do against it?
Each day, it seems to take on more power.
Sword, I'll show you a sword.
All right, we're gonna decipher my notes. This is my notes from the opening. Opens up with Mutants and Mar talking at the Black Pyramid about the Sword of Omens and whether ThunderCats always win. Each day it seems to take on more power, Monkey says. So,
Yes.
I understand that the Omens maybe could not do, but it could do Sword. So it opens up with the Mutants and Mumm-Ra talking at the Black Pyramid about the Sword of Omens and why the ThunderCats always win. And Monkey says each day it seems to take on more power, not sorting almonds and not the Power Monkey. So
Could you?
So this is by the way a typical HOA meeting.
Definitely.
At Mumm-Ra's Pier. He called everybody to the meeting. He called order. They have enough members. They can start the thing. You know, I don't know who's taking the notes. And Mumm-Ra
Vultureman will say because he's not on screen. He's
chastising. She's chastising them. However, at this point, I know Mumm-Ra is kind of chastising them a little bit, but he's not going all out because he's been defeated multiple times and attributes that to the Sword of Omens as well. So I think it's funny, but yes, it's an HOA meeting. Karens are all in a fluff. And you know what the funny part is that the mutants do tend to almost have like a banter or gossip a little bit too about.
Yes, always.
They talk about Snarf, like almost like Mean Girls would talk about like the heavyset person in the group, you know,
their
like
burn book.
They're worthless, and those stupid burbles or whatever, like, and Susan with her damn candy fruit trees, and this and like, so they are basically a little gossipy. They're a little cliquey, and so
Has Snarf not been seen in the Burble village looking for fruit? Yes.
I love the fact, and this is also, we talked about, yes, the Sword of Omens seems to always be what Lion-O needs. It's almost like the Sword of Omens is only limited to Lion-O's imagination or what he needs. It's almost like the Green Lantern when he can do whatever he wants with the ring.
Ooh, that's a great analogy. Now, is that great for the character and a sword of being a magical sword? Or is that just a way for the writers to be able to get themselves out of any situation with the Sword of Omens? I mean, I'll take it either way.
Both. But there are times when Lion-O has the Sword of Omens to do things that he could do with other means. Like when there's a gap in a bridge and the Sword of Omens, he can walk across it or whatever.
Yeah.
He could use the claw shield.
The claw glove, yeah.
Yeah, he could do other things. Climb, jump, leap, do different things. So yes, there are times that the Sword of Omens is almost overly used. It's almost like relying too much on magic, Willow.
Yes, a Buffy reference, that's right. Too much magic.
After the HOA meeting, Mumm-Ra is talking about...
So to counter this ThunderCat sword, Mumm-Ra decides to enlist the help of an equally powerful blade. He calls forth the ancient swordsman by the name of Hachiman.
Here's a sword! This is Hachiman, ultimate warrior, bound to the Bushido Code of Honor.
The samurai, who strictly goes by the code of Bushido, wields the mighty sword known as the Thunder Cutter, which is convenient, isn't it?
Hachiman actually says there's irony in the fact that they're Thundercats and his sword is called the Thunder Cutter. He makes reference to it, so that's pretty cool.
And I will cut you down. Despite being a good and noble warrior, Hachiman is tricked by Mumm-Ra into believing that the Thundercats are evil, and so the samurai heads out to eliminate their leader, Lion-O, and he says he is an ever-living shogun of Third Earth, and I love this. They actually played Japanese-esque string music when Mumm-Ra is talking about Hachiman and his code and everything, so he is the ever-living shogun of Third Earth.
You mean he will fight on our side, yes?
Oh, what is this place? Who are these foreigners? Oi!
Hey, watch it! I, Mumm-Ra, ever-living shogun of Third Earth, brought you here to my service. Your reward will be an empire of your own.
My sword and my skills cannot be bought, Mumm-Ra son. I fight only for honor against evil.
And that is exactly why you are here.
I always say this because Mumm-Ra's done this before, where he's played this victim act. First of all, you have the power to summon somebody, and I don't want to judge a book by its cover, but he looks pretty grotesque. Now, I know later on there's a character called Mumm-Ra who is also a mummy. However, her facade is still less scary, less ominous. She just looks like me after
She's fleshy.
She looks like me after dealing with my kids all day, just tired and beat down. So yes, he refers to himself as a shogun, which is funny because Siri said shotgun, which I can see that making a mistake.
Yeah. Mumm-Ra is shotgun.
Then take it from here, Ryan. Go ahead.
Well, oblivious to the evil plans that Mumm-Ra has set in motion, the Thundercats are in good spirits at Cat's Lair, David, as they show it's Nayda, aka Nayda, their latest invention, the mutant attack.
Nada.
We still don't know what it is, but I think I call her little sister now after this episode.
Little sister, yes.
The mutant attack warning system, the device invented by Panther, is meant to warn the warrior maidens of any impending mutant attacks, giving them enough time to prepare themselves to fight off the intruders.
Queen Willa asked us to build a mutant attack warning system to help you protect yourselves.
How does it work?
Once Lion-O's fixed it in place, it'll pick up the physical vibrations of any creature that intrudes on your Treetop kingdom. It's powered by the sun, so once it's installed, you don't have to do anything.
Then, when anybody, anything, crosses into the Warrior Maiden's kingdom, you'll get plenty of... warning!
If you leave now, you could have the warning system in place within 3 days.
I can get you to the Treetop Kingdom quicker than that. Follow me.
Lion-O and Nayda start their journey to the Treetop Kingdom, taking the device with them. Instead of the usual route, which takes 3 days to complete, the duo take a shortcut across the 4-day drop chasm that Nayda recommends.
Another natural wonder of Third Earth. We have the Grand Canyon, they have the 4-day drop. We have Old Faithful, they have the Geyser of Ooze. We have Stonehenge, they have the Despair Death, whatever, Chasm of Hell. You know, it's like...
Nothing's pleasant. Nothing is ever pleasant in this series. You're right. Can't it just be the chasm of crystal roses?
Because something like that would be, the roses would be sharp and glass and cut everybody that goes near it and shoot out at you. So no, they would not be.
That's why Lion would be like, why do they call it that, Nayda? Because they cut you all the way down. Like thorns on a rose.
I get the feeling we're lost.
I'm taking you on a shortcut.
You think that's wise?
We have to cross the 4-day drop, but it'll save us a whole day.
What in the world is the 4-day drop?
You'll see.
So the 4-day drop, we find out, Lion-O says, because it takes 4 days to hit the bottom once you get in it? Yes. So how do they know that, though?
Maybe someone fell in and they just kept talking.
I'm still falling.
They have this stone. They have their sundial. It looks like it's been about 4 days. She finally thumped.
Yeah. Well, I command it's been 4 days. I'd say that's about right.
Who knows?
As Lion-O starts to cross the thin log spanning the chasm, he runs into Hachiman, who was crossing from the other side. And Lion-O says, "Excuse me, sir. Can you please go back because I was starting on this log first?" David, what do you think about this scene? Because Hachiman and Lion-O start basically cutting the bridge away, and Nayda's basically there to be the voice of, "You two idiots! You're basically cutting the log that you're on."
Pardon me, sir, but as I started across first, I ask you please to back off.
A samurai never backs off.
Does that mean a samurai has no manners?
Manners? It is good manners if a boy gets out of the way for a man. I will continue to cut this log until you back off. What do you think of that, you?
This is what I think of that, samurai!
You fools! If one of you doesn't give way, you'll both end up in the pit!
So basically, it's a pissing contest between the both of them, and of course Nayda is like, "You two dumb jocks are gonna get yourself killed." God. Like, she's like, "God, why are men so stupid?" Like, that's her. She's like, "I can't believe they're so stupid." But it is a matter of Hachiman is in the wrong because Lion-O was first. If he's not paying attention, that's not anybody's fault. Lion-O was clearly further along the log before Hachiman got on the log. So first of all, he's not showing any kind of manners or conduct. Like, Lion-O actually says, "Where are your manners?" basically, doesn't he? And he thinks because he's on a mission of like great importance that this is kind of selfish for someone who says they're a samurai, that his need to go as fast as possible to fight the evil Thundercats takes precedence over someone he doesn't even know walking across already.
Retreat, boy! Take your little sister's advice!
I am not a boy, and that is not my little sister!
Well, he says David because it is respect for someone to move away for their elders for a young boy. So again, we hear that Lion-O.
Well, can I ask you something? If you looked at Lion-O, could you tell he was young?
Never. I mean, I guess a young, like a teen, 20
but
years old.
No. But if you were like another creature that never saw ThunderCat before, because ThunderCats are not all over the world, all over the universe. No. You saw a group of ThunderCats. Would you be able to age them and say she looks younger than him? They're cat people that have fur. They're not gray. They don't have gray fur. Like you could say gray hair, white hair. Like how could they always call him boy and stuff? But I'd like to know where that comes from, because I would not be able to go up to Lion-O and go up to Tigra and say that they're ones other than their demeanor, maybe, but he didn't really talk to him. So anyway, But
you're right, and Tigra always
Mumm-Ra would
mentions
know
that he's older too. Tigra always says, "I am older."
Mumm-Ra knows, and the mutants know because he aged in the capsule when he was on the ship. They know because Mumm-Ra knows everything other than how to defeat the ThunderCats.
I know. I just choose not to, David.
I know that you urinated in your bed again.
I know everything. Yes, because and to David's point, I would say, especially seeing what the Thunder Kittens look like, we can see that clearly if you put them all together, you would be able to say Wily Kitten, Wily Cat were younger than the others. But right, just seeing Lion-O standing there, you would never know.
It's like this. If you look at a dog, let's say you looked at my dog.
Tracy.
Not the new one because she's growing or whatever. If you looked at Bro, my dog Bro, other than he lost a little bit of weight, he looks exactly the same when he was 10 months. Now he's going on 5.5, 6 years. So there's no difference. You couldn't tell. And the lifespan of a dog, obviously he's not old by any stretch of the imagination, but he's older. You would not be able to look at him and go, that's an old dog. If you see the dog, wobbling and like not looking healthy, you could say maybe that's an older, sickly dog.
Right.
But you wouldn't be able to tell. So anyway, I don't know why I'm stuck on that. I just think it's like a way to put Lion-O down. Like to say
time, yes.
But it kind of doesn't hold water for me because I don't think I wouldn't be able to discern that.
It is actually something for Lion-O that I feel like he does take offense to, because he is working so hard to be the leader, and they always call him boy. I think that might be a sticking point.
Listen, if he was at the bar, he'd be a twink. Or a chwunk. What chwunk? Is that with a hunk?
Is that what? Twink? Is that an in-between?
Yes,
Did you just make that up?
No, that's a hunk twink.
I was like, copyright that.
A twunk.
Right now. Lion-O the twunk.
That's hot. Okay, Paris. Let's not northwest, east, south, whatever. Okay, Kardashian.
So now they're cutting the log, which is insanity to me, because they had this whole conversation, Nayda with Lion-O, about how it's so delicate that if he doesn't make it, he wants her to still deliver the thing. But anyway, they get into a cutting match. They take turns slashing the log with their swords. The log inevitably snaps as the two are falling into the abyss. Nayda rescues them and pulls them up. After having a hearty laugh at their childish behavior, both begin to head their separate ways when Hachiman learns the identity of Lion-O. Having found his target, Hachiman challenges Lion-O to a duel, but as soon as they start to fight, both Thundercutter and Sword of Omens refuse to draw. So he says that he respects this man. How could it be an enemy, especially one that his little sister saved his life? She is not my little sister! Like, Lion-O got really pissed off over that.
She's not even a cat person.
No!
Look at her.
How dare you!
There's no fur on that body. At least where we can see the warrior maidens.
Treetop Kingdoms. The Treetop Kingdoms. I don't know why he was so offended by that. I think it was just a way, like, he thought he was putting him down still, because he was like, tell you.
Well, you were saved by what he would consider to be, again, this is a stereotype, considered to be a less formidable, less powerful person. A woman, a young woman. But it was also at the same time respectful.
She's saving them. Well, we'll get to that when the mutants attack. But yes, the little sister. And Lion-O growls at various points when they're fighting. He gets into it. He's like, Urgh. He gets really cat-like. He's like, let me live up to that ThunderCat name for this man.
Sister Christian, the time has come. And you know that you're the only one to say.
You two are fools!
What a perfect example of mindless combat!
You stood up to me, my young friend, and we both kept our honor. Now I must go, for I seek the Lord Lion-O.
Why are you looking for this Lord Lion-O?
My master, the Shogun Mumm-Ra, has commanded me to destroy him and his sword.
Then go no further. I am Lion-O.
What? This cannot be! How can I fight a man I respect, whose little sister has just saved my life?
You have already tested each other's bravery. Isn't that enough?
It cannot be used for an evil cause, and this duel is evil.
My honor demands that we fight to the finish. Hello! The Thundercat will not draw! Then you are right, young lord. This duel is wrong. Mumm-Ra lied. We are friends. I will go with you to fight this evil Mumm-Ra.
Fine. Now, if you two gentlemen are through, how do we get across the pit?
Ha ha ha! Very simple.
You two are fools.
Having found this target, Hachiman challenges Lion-O to a duel. Both Lion-O and Hachiman realize that the duel is evil, hence the swords refuse to draw. Realizing that he has been lied to by Mumm-Ra, Hachiman becomes friends with Lion-O. With one quick slash of his katana, chops down a tree to form a new bridge across the 4-day drop. That's actually great because that bridge was about to collapse anyway, so.
I was going to say maybe he could have done a couple of trees so they could have tied them together to make a bridge. That's just me. I don't want to push for it, but
it was a thick, I mean, that was like an Ewok village tree that he cut down, so it makes me actually
I
wonder
would know.
yeah.
I would know.
Flashback, look that up for anybody on the YouTube page. David's Ewok Village
Adventure.
story. It's got its own separate video. Suddenly, the trio come under attack by Slythe, Monkey, and a Sky Cutter. Working together, Lion-O, Hachiman, and Nayda succeed in bringing down the mutant craft. Monkey quickly flees the scene, but Slythe, who is pinned under the Sky Cutter, is taken hostage by the heroes to the Treetop Kingdom. Oh my god, David. This is coming up one of my favorite parts, because not one to give up easily, Mumm-Ra summons another ancient Japanese warrior, a ninja, to bring his evil scheme to fruition. But this is hysterical, David. Monkey goes, "What are we gonna do now?" And Mumm-Ra's like, "They'll want us to attack or negotiate."
How are we going to rescue Slime?
They will expect us to attack or negotiate.
So, which will we do?
Neither! Never do what your enemies expect. The samurai would not fight for us because of his code of honor. We need someone without honor. Obsi, ancient spirits of war. Abidos, Abeshimi Duat, Amar!
The way he says it was just like, "Oh, they're waiting for us to negotiate."
Ugh, that resident is waiting for an answer about their driveway expansion.
He's not having it.
The HOA will not have it.
They want me to work. Today is my day off. So he calls the ninja. He says where Hachiman has honor, the ninja does not. And he calls this silent ninja to attack the Treetop Kingdom and rescue Slythe.
Before we go any further, I want to talk quickly about ninjas in general. So there's two sides of the coin. Either ninjas are the most mischievous, kind of bad, evil, slice your throat, they're the bad guys, or they're super amazing heroes who use their skills to save people. There's Lego Ninjago, where the ninjas help everybody, and then there's apparently this ninja, like I'm talking like in general, like the pop culture, that when ninjas are involved in cartoons, movies, whatever, they're either like a champion of good in the sense that they use their kind of... Yeah, they use their skills to help people, or they're like these really evil, hide in the darkness and use their skills to cause harm and steel and things like that. So it's pretty interesting.
Guns for hire, basically. Not but metaphor guns, but
Yeah.
like a warrior for hire.
Mercenaries
Mercenary.
that hide in the dark. So it's very interesting that this
And very quiet, too, which was really cool.
well,
He was
ninjas are supposed to be. Ninjas are supposed to be like,
Silence.
you don't know they're there. They're behind you, and you don't even know it before it's too late.
I don't see anyone.
Look behind you. This is the ninja. If the samurai is our honor, the ninja has none.
And it helped for whoever had to do the voice of another character because the ninja was kind of just like very silent. So God knows who even had to do
So
that.
there's another thing I want to bring up.
Queen Willa?
No, when things don't age well. So this
Oh, yes.
the typical stereotypical Japanese accent, which is like, again, we talk about this all the time because it comes up, especially when you're dealing with retro things or older things.
Yes, everything we do. We get canceled for.
There is obviously the fact that this is would be considered a stereotype or racist to some degree because it's so funny that my kids like this new movie that came out. What is it? I think is it called Seeing Red or something? It's with the fox. It's like girl. It's an Asian girl. I'm not sure of what her ethnicity, if it's Japanese or Chinese, but she turns into a red panda.
Red fox?
Or red
panda?
It's a Disney movie.
Red panda Disney. Oh.
So to
No, I
me,
never
if you were to look at this and not necessarily realize that the creators were of Asian descent and actually use some of their own experiences into the cartoon,
Right, like the Japanese art,
you would say this is a little racist. And I know there's some controversy around the movie, so I think they put out this thing where you actually see the creators and stuff like that are basing the look of the characters, everything on their own experiences and own looks, because again, it's a fine line. And we talked about this in Scream Queens too, about on the Radical Retro Rewind, would Ryan Murphy be canceled because of some of the stereotypes and some of the things that he uses in his work? I don't want this to become a public service announcement. It's Thundercats, but there are some things that did not age very well, I will say, with the various ethnic, quote-unquote, cultural voices used. So.
I will say, though, it is a double-edged sword, no pun intended, because in one way, you are honoring a culture in a way, and you are making it authentic at the time. But yes, nowadays you would hope that they would, get an actor maybe of Japanese descent. As a matter of fact, this is Tiger's voice, Monkey's voice, you can hear the actor doing it. But it's great to have the representation, but nowadays I assume that they would use an actor of
well, not even
Asian
nowadays.
descent.
I know we say that, but the other thing is that when you get people to represent their actual culture and their actual language and their actual dialect, actors work. Now, clearly, Thundercats was a very budgeted. They had the actors doing 37 voices, obviously. But I'm saying,
we speak your name, Lynn Lipton.
when you have somebody who is of that descent, that culture, that speaks that language fluently, that's their first language, maybe even.
Yeah.
You get a more authenticity to it, and it doesn't leave room for interpretation that there's going to be people that have problems with everything. You're not going to make everybody happy, but I'm saying when you actually have an actor or a producer or a writer who is speaking from their own cultural experience, it makes more sense. It doesn't seem so like hokey pokey. Little sister, whatever. But this is just like, what do you call it? This is just like the Safari Joe episode where he's like, sounds like he's like a fake Crocodile Dundee, put a shrimp on the Barbie. Dude, so
I will say, we like to bring up ThunderCats Raw, the recent canceled ThunderCats cartoon reboot series. Hachiman did appear, David, and I was wondering what they would do for him. No accent. He talked like an American person or whatever, an English-speaking person in that. So I guess that's the equivalent of doing it. Although to me, this is so ingrained in the character that even when I was playing with Hachiman action figures, right or wrong, I did the whole Lionel kind of thing. I mean, ugh. David, we get a Tabbit again, but it is not a Tabbit. It's actually the ninja disguised as a Tabbit. Gammel the tablet. He goes to the Treetop Kingdom pretending to be a hostage negotiator. Willa! Willa is amazing. She says, "Take the negotiator and guard his safety until morning," or whatever. She's like, "If it pleases me, I will release him." I love her. She is she is something else. And Lynn Lipton, here we go, another character voice she had to do in this episode.
Now that we have the warning device in place, we'll know in advance if the mutants attack.
I don't think they will attack. They'll negotiate to get Slythe back.
I hope you're right.
The early warning system. Nayda, what's happening?
It's just a tablet. Identify yourself. Why are you here?
I am Mumm-Ra the Tablet. I have come to negotiate on behalf of the mighty Mumm-Ra. He wishes Slythe to be released.
Bring the tablet to me. Speak.
I bring assurances from the mutants. All will be forgiven, forgotten, and filed away. All they ask is the return of their beloved leader, Slythe.
You will have your answer tomorrow, if it pleases me. Take the negotiator to the quarters below and guard his safety. What did you think?
Something's wrong.
I like the fact that the ninja, that they bring this, is it a tablet? You said it was a tablet?
Yeah, the tablet.
To a room, and he basically, the ninja comes out, it's like a bodysuit. He's like got a hog suit on.
Right? What the hell was that? Like, he came out of it.
He's got this, like, he's coming out of this, like, pinata looking body thing that all of a sudden.
Yeah. But then my question was, David, why did the negotiator want to stay overnight in a room? I mean, she guarded it. That was nice. But she didn't offer no food. She's like, you just got to stay in this room until morning.
It was late. It was late. The kitchen was closed.
Yeah.
And he is negotiating for Mumm-Ra and the mutants. So she ain't going to be happy with that. Let's be honest. The tablet makes me look anorexic. So... And I'm a big man, so he ain't missing no meals. Don't worry, he's not missing any meals.
She didn't say, I even offer him a piece of candy fruit. Nothing.
She's like, throw water at him if he's thirsty.
If it pleases him.
I would have said, if it pleases me, I will drop Sly off one of these trees and see what happens to that. What happens when a frog hits the ground? Because I would have been like that. See, there's the thing. We talk about this. What would I do in that situation? I would not be the good guy in the situation, because as soon as I had the chance to get rid of the mutants, I would take them out one by one. I wouldn't use the Sword of Omens because I couldn't. But I could use something else, like drop you off the side of a tree.
Use that bridge. I would walk right over and drop them down.
Yeah, exactly. And then bye-bye mutants. Then Mumm-Ra has no allies. And they're evil, but that's the difference between good and evil. Like, good have to do the right thing. But, I mean, is it wrong if accidentally Sly slips a little off the side of the building and I don't help them?
They would know. The Sword somehow would know and look at them.
Well, that's why I would be a mercenary ThunderCat, and I would just get rid of everybody that's bad. And then...
Groon.
We live in harmony.
Let Chitara do it. She runs so fast they'd never know it was even her. Oh, he died. What if you
trip them and they fall into the deadly something
desert.
Spike of hell?
Desert.
You know, yeah, the deadly desert, like on Return to Oz. I don't know. It's just me. We've talked about this. Would you, if you could go back in time, stop Hitler, or would you do those kind of, like that kind of a thing? Would you, if you had the ability, would the death of one evil be better to save one versus so many? I don't know.
But then would it change history too much? And then Mumm-Ra would be Shogun of all Earth.
Mumm-Ra wouldn't have any minions. It would just be Mumm-Ra. And anytime something bad happens, you'd know it was Mumm-Ra in disguise. Like if someone comes to cause a problem, you're like, that's Mumm-Ra. That's Mumm-Ra.
Unless...
That ain't the Nether Witch. That's Mumm-Ra.
Well, we know he's got various other identities that
Alter
he
egos.
To pretend to be.
He's like,
So
I must put on the wig again. I have to put the wig on again.
It's like, it's Thursday. I have to be the witch of the Burble East Village. So So, David, the ninja ends up letting Slythe know that the mutants will attack at daybreak, and he takes Nayda and tells Hachiman that he's gonna throw her over the edge unless he throws down the sword. But Nayda says, don't worry about her, protect the kingdom. And I love this. As he throws her down, she's like, you don't have to worry anymore about your decision, Hachiman, about her honor, because she's fallen down.
Hachiman, never mind me! Stop the ninja before it's too late!
No! You saved my life! It would be against my code!
Now you needn't worry!
Little sister!
But she ends up getting saved.
He's like, don't worry, I'll bounce.
It ain't the 4-day chasm, so Lion-O quickly summons the other Thundercats that arrive in the Thunder Tank, and he sends the villains fleeing. Having earned Lion-O's friendship and respect, Hachiman bids him farewell and walks off into the sunset. I love this. By the end of this episode, David, Nayda, she asks Lion-O if they had to duel, who do you think would win? And he says, Hachiman, of course. And she says, funny, he said the same thing about you because you are young and flexible.
There he goes. I'm going to miss him.
Well, he's a powerful, stubborn man, but his loyalty and courage are unquestioned.
And don't forget honor.
How could I? It rules his life. Let me ask you, Lion-O, if it had come to it, who do you think would have won that sword duel?
Why, Hachiman. He had the experience and strength.
Funny, when I asked him that, he said you, because you were young and flexible.
The truth is, in a duel, nobody wins.
Thunder, 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 Thundercats!
Is it true what they say about Thundercats and flexibility? Can you clean yourselves like a cat?
Oh,
I want to note something. I want to note something about. I didn't know I was so funny. Thank you very much. Donations. There's a donation button in the thing from my stand-up act.
Tips.
What is that? What is that thing called? What is that thing called? Patreon? You said when people actually
Patreon.
get paid for. Well, we need to start that up because I need to be patronized.
If it pleases me. We're gonna call you Queen Willa.
If it pleases me.
Queen David.
I've been called the queen before, but I always tell people I'm not the queen, I'm the empress. So anyway, what I was going to say is this episode opened up a few things for me. One, again, the Thundercats win over people with the way they do conduct themselves, like Hachiman.
Yes.
The Code of Thundera, being kind and doing the right thing. So boo-hoo on me for wanting to kill Slythe. But anyway, the other thing is...
Poo-poo on me.
It takes 4 days to get to the kingdom, but the Thundercats got there in 5 minutes. So again, continuity issue. I always thought remember how we talked about is Third Earth smaller than we think it is? Because it always seems like they get there.
That's what I thought.
Very quickly. Like, is it the forest right outside the cat's lair goes right into the treetop? Yeah. Apparently not. It takes 4 days to get there. So that's something that would be interesting if there was a map. Is there an actual map? Is there an actual map of Third Earth? Like a real map made by the creators of ThunderCats? I'd be interested to see geographically how far things are. I thought I did as a kid had some sort of a map that came with
think they
something.
did actually. There was various coloring books and stuff that at the time they did make maps that you could color in, and comic book did make maps. So that would be interesting. But you're right. This is a new thing about the Treetop Kingdom being this long to get to. And it doesn't matter because if you get the power of the Sword of Omens energy drink, you could just get there.
But that doesn't go into the Thunder Tank.
Chitara ready.
I miss my Thunder
ready.
Tank. I had the Thunder Tank. I miss it. I love that.
Oh,
thing.
they just made a new one, Dave. That lights up.
That Thunder Tank
$500.
That Thunder Tank took a lot of abuse. Yeah. Okay. $500 versus $29.99. I think we probably paid $30 for it, maybe.
But this one fits 5 Thundercats inside and 2 seats in the front. Yeah, I wish I could afford that one. It's amazing looking. And I love that it lights up, but no, sorry. Can't own a $500.
Cue Pantheon music. Dun, 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 dun.
So, David, a few trivias for today's episode. As Mumm-Ra is telling Hachiman about the ThunderCats, the visual that appears in his cauldron is taken from the opening intro sequence of the show. I saw that. I was going to say, Mumm-Ra shows him the intro of ThunderCats. Hoping to destroy the ThunderCats, Mumm-Ra decides to employ the Thunder Cutter against the Sword of Omens. In the episode coming up, Excalibur, he devises a similar scheme, but instead pits the legendary sword of Excalibur against the mighty ThunderCats' blade. All three swords share one characteristic: that they cannot be used for committing evil. The Tabit, who debuted in Spaceship Beneath the Sands, reappears in this episode as a disguise. We also learn that his name is Gummel?
Ganon? He's from...
That's what I thought too! Ganon from Zelda. While in this episode, it is the ninja who dons the disguise of the Tabit. In the future episode, Mumm-Ra, Lion-O takes on the same disguise.
One other thing, there is yet another sword swords, I should say, swords that does come up in it and is also a very powerful weapon.
So, David, I want to debut a new segment, basically only because I want to use this audio clip again. So this is just my way of bringing it up. It's called Who Was the Biggest Bungler?
You bungler! Once again, you have failed.
So, David, if there is someone in this episode that to you came up with the stupidest scheme, messed up, you just didn't like, we will call this the biggest bungler. If Mumm-Ra had to decide who was the biggest bungler, was there a bungler in this episode? Do you think anyone messed up? Could they have done something differently? Is Mumm-Ra the bungler?
Since Mumm-Ra would never pick himself, I'm gonna say it can't be Mumm-Ra, because Mumm-Ra would never bungle Mumm-Ra himself.
No.
I'm trying to think of who really messed up here. You could say maybe the biggest bungler was the ninja, thinking that if he threw Nayda, her name is Nayda.
Yeah, it is
off
Nayda,
the thing,
right?
that would have killed her. I guess you could say that. The mutants seem to always be a little bit like not behind the ball. So I'm trying to remember the scene. Was it Slide or Monkey in that? Monkey always seems to... He's a coward.
He left Slide. He's left Slide. He said, "Help me, Monkey," and he just left him.
I think he's the biggest bungler. Would you just say he's the biggest bungler? What would you say?
Honestly, it's hard, David, this episode, really, because none of them really did it. I shouldn't have debuted on this, but I would say, yeah, he left Slive, and that therefore caused the whole situation with the negotiator. Although, in Mumm-Ra's defense, I guess he thought that really was gonna work and do something, the ninja. So, let's give it to Monkey and...
You bungler!
So, that was another ThunderCats review, David. I really enjoyed this episode. What about you?
It was up there. I definitely liked it a lot. I always seem to dig deeper into these things than probably anybody else that's watching it.
Well, that's what we're doing this for, the deep dive discussion.
I like the fact that they made new friends. Now, the other thing else I have to say about the episode is Hachiman just wandering Third Earth now. Is Mumm-Ra's not going to put him back in the bottle, so to speak?
I got the same thing, Craig, because he crossed time and space, I thought. So why couldn't he just stay with the Treetop kingdom?
Is he going there. Everything? What's that spell from Charmed? Everything has its place. Return what was lost through time and space.
Through time and space, yeah. Time's for everything, and everything's
place. Is he gonna pull a Charmed
No,
spell?
he's just he's wanders, I think. Because we see Hachiman again, but I don't know. That's a continuity error. We'll have to find out when he comes back, because he does reappear, Hachiman.
The Return of Hachiman.
The Return? I think it is called that, David.
Probably.
Something of a Return of Hachiman. ThunderCats fans, we will be back again the last Friday of every month. You can always reach David at Universal Appeal 2020, one word, on Instagram, as well as the Radical Retro Rewind Podcast, one word, on Instagram. We're always updating there, and we're always updating our YouTube channel with new content, videos. Thank you, ThunderCats fans, for joining us again today.
Thank you. Leave a message. Beep!
If you want to leave us a message, we will play it on the show. Bye.
Peace out.